Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us for today's webinar covering how payroll for construction can help simplify Davis-Bacon payroll. My name is Alex Gray, one of the regional sales managers here at Payroll for Construction. I'll be hosting today's webinar. Those of you that in the audience here, thank you for joining. We still have some others that are filing in, so we're going to go ahead and get started here in a few moments. Those that have joined so far, today's webinar is a listen-only webinar for those in the audience. There is a questions box, so as I go through here today, feel free to throw any questions in that polls questions answer, and I'll get those answered as we go along here today for the presentation, as well as wrap them up at the end here. But still have some of those that are filing in here. I'll be back with you guys here in a few moments. Hello again, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join today's webinar. We still have some that are joining us here for today's session. So we'll get things here in a moment, get things going here in a moment. Hold tight. I'll be right back with you guys here in a couple minutes. All right, looks like we had a few additional people join us here, so we'll go ahead and get things started. So thanks again, everyone in the audience today for joining me for today's webinar covering how payroll for construction can help simplify Davis-Bacon payroll. My name is Alex Gray, one of the regional sales managers here at Payroll for Construction. I'm going to bring up my information here at the beginning. As I go along today, anyone that is interested in receiving more information, has a few questions after the webinar today, or is interested in setting up a demonstration of our construction-specific payroll services here, please don't hesitate to reach out, give me a call, shoot me an email here. Also, for those that have just joined us, today's webinar is a listen-only webinar for those in the audience. There is a questions portion in the control sidebar of your webinar dashboard there. As I go along today, any questions that come up, feel free to throw those in the chat. Some of them I'll cover as we go along through the presentation today, but I'll also have a formal questions portion at the end of today's webinar. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump right into things here. So what we're talking about here today, payroll for construction. Now, our payroll services can help simplify that Davis-Bacon payroll, that government prevailing wage payroll, where meet payroll for construction. So who we are, what we do, we're an online payroll service provider only working in the construction industry, more specifically prevailing wage union contractors. We're processing payroll in all 50 states. Doesn't matter if you're working to report into one state, working to report into multiple states. Our team is processing payroll in all 50 states. We do have clients in all 50 states here at this point in time. I'll be able to handle whether you're reporting to one state or we have a multi-state payroll reporting setup there. Another thing that does make us different from other providers out there is we're powered behind the scenes by a full job cost ERP accounting software known as Foundation. Over 35 years of experience in the construction industry. With that accounting system, large number of modules, products available inside that accounting system. But in 2006, the team here realized that, hey, not everyone needs the full power of that accounting system. One of the great things about it is the powerful payroll module, as well as the ability to have job costing information. So created today what is known as the full payroll provider, payroll for construction, where we're going to be able to pay the employees via check or direct deposit, handle all tax filings and payments when it comes to payroll here, as well as then with us being construction specific and a big part of that construction payroll, having that construction specific reporting. We're going to have automated free reports inside of that payroll system to help with job costing. Those in the call that today that are union contractors, as well as that Davis-Bacon payroll, those certified payroll reports, going to have print and electronic formats, as well as EEO, minority compliance reporting, job labor variance, job burden reports, a large number of construction-specific reports that are automatically generated, available for you inside your payroll for construction database here. Who we are, what we do. Again, we're going to be that payroll service, but we specialize in construction-specific payroll, especially with how messy and busy construction payroll can get, especially when we're also talking that prevailing wage Davis-Bacon payroll here today. So like I mentioned earlier, multi-state payroll processing here. So unlimited number of states can be handled by our team here with those payroll runs. So with this, be able to break out those taxes by job inside of the system as that payroll submitted to our team for processing, be able to handle that multi-state reporting, as well as any contractors that are working in states like Ohio, Kentucky, where we have multiple localities that need to be handled with that payroll reporting. Again, not a problem with our payroll services, that be able to set up all the taxing tables that your team is working with for your payroll runs and absolutely be able to handle that multi-locality reporting, send off the information where it needs to go after that payroll submitted to our team for processing here. But then the bottom portion here, how we're going to handle and help simplify that construction specific payroll, that Davis-Bacon payroll here, where on the employee record in our system, I can go in and say we have an employee making a set $15 an hour. But when we have prevailing wage Davis-Bacon work, we're going to have above scale rates of pay, as well as fringing information we're going to need to track for these employees here. So we'll have separate tables here that your team will have access to as a payroll for construction client, or our team can manage for you, where we can automate and set up the pay rates based on the trade classification for that specific project. When we're coding time into the time card for those employees working on that project, the system will be able to look at that project and pull in the corresponding rate of pay based on if this is a Davis-Bacon prevailing wage project, or if this is a private commercial project, pull in the corresponding rate of pay, as well as then set up all the corresponding fringing calculations for your team. No matter if this is something that we're just paying as cash into the employee's paycheck here with that fringe, or this is something that we're working with some sort of fringe benefit group where maybe that fringing information is being broken out into multiple buckets, 401k, health insurance, etc. Does not matter how that fringe needs to be calculated. Have that separate table that our team can manage to set up for you as we're coding those hours into that specific Davis-Bacon prevailing wage project, be able to then automatically calculate those fringes for us, as well as pull those into our certified payroll reports if we need those to be displayed. Also, the system can help automate a prevailing wage fringe reduction factor or a fringe credit, where, for my example here, hey, this project here is requiring us to offer $12 an hour in fringe benefits to our employees here. But based on the team setup, what we're already offering them as a company, maybe we're offering them up to $7 an hour in fringe benefits here, where instead of taking the 12 and the 7 and just tracking those ourselves and paying them on top of each other, we're able to reduce that fringe down by the $5 difference, no matter if that fringe reduction needs to be on an hourly basis, a per pay basis, or a percentage. Have tables, other ways that we can automate that prevailing wage fringe reduction factor based on however that needs to be calculated for those individual employees inside your payroll database there. Then the final part here, workers' compensation. So we'll take that workers' compensation policy, get that set up, broken out by the types of work performed, the different trade classifications we have for the team, can even set up caps to what's ultimately being exposed to that workers' compensation policy. All this information is then tracked as we're coding those hours into our system for payroll. Have a nice report that we can run from a high-level class breakout of our team there, or if we need more information, get down into employee by employee, earn code by earn code basis of what's going on with workers' comp. Then going hand in hand with the calculations of the payroll here, big part of that construction payroll then becomes that construction specific reporting. So all the reports that I'm going to mention here today are included as a payroll for construction client. If you use them, you use them. If you don't, you don't. They're all available for you to pull at any point in time inside of your payroll system. These can all also be PDF pulled outside of your payroll database if we need to send these off to a user that doesn't have access. But one of the big ones here today, that certified payroll reports. We're going to have over 40 different print options for those certified payroll reports. So whether you're just needing the generic federal WH-347 or, hey, we need a state, city-specific format, we're going to have over 40 different print options available inside of that payroll database for you, available after payroll submitted to our team for processing. No third-party companies, third-party portals you're jumping into for those certified payroll reports, all generated directly inside of your payroll system. Then on the other hand, we're starting to see the industry switch towards the electronic certified payroll reports, where things like LCP Tracker, EMARS, California has the DIR, as well as other specific electronic formats available for these portals. Whereas with our system here, after that payroll's ran, you can go in and select the specific electronic format that your team needs for that reporting, put in the date range needed, export the file for that electronic upload outside of the payroll system, upload it to LCP Tracker, DIR, wherever it needs to go. Your certified payroll report, the electronic upload has been created for you inside of our system. Again, no third-party companies, portals you're going to for your certified reports, all inside your payroll system here. Also then, if anyone needs minority compliance, EEO reports, going to have print and electronic formats available as well for the EEO minority compliance reporting, as well as job costs, job labor, burden cost reports, as, hey, when I'm paying my guys $15 an hour, when we bring in FICA, FUTA, SUTA, workers' comp, fringing information, they're going to be more so $25, $26 an hour, where have reports that will bring in the true costs, everything that's going in to what we're paying those employees, so we can see with average hourly rate what our employees are truly costing us when it comes to those payroll runs here. Like I mentioned on the previous slide, then workers' compensation as well, high-level class breakout, or can get down into an employee-by-employee basis, as well as too can track any miscellaneous deductions, 401k, health insurance, as well as any union contractors on the call here today as well. Those union reports that we need to generate, no matter if we're working with one union, multiple unions, we'll also be able to set up the union pay rates as well as union deduction fringe information via those tables inside of our system. As all that information is being coded into those projects for our union employees, have a nice report that we can see broken out on a trade by trade basis under that union, and also provide us our overall bottom line at the end of the month of the amount where we stand with that union, what we need to cut the check for. Then the final option here today, child support and other garnishments here. Any of those child support court-ordered garnishments, be able to set those up on the employee record to be automatically withheld, then have reports available if your team's handling those garnishments in-house, or as well as our team can handle any court-ordered child support garnishments if you wanted to outsource those to our team here as well. All right, then at our core, we're still going to be that traditional payroll service provider here. So we'll be able to pay the employees via check or direct deposit. We'll then handle all payroll tax filings and payments when it comes to the weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual tax filings and payments. Can handle any federal, state, local authorities, FUTA and SUTA, as well as then those quarterly and annual returns. And then also have the W-2 and other year-end service offerings we provide here for those employee W-2s here. Any of those that are looking to make a payroll switch this year, we take clients live the first of any month, where we'll get all payroll history, what's been done so far this year by the team, up to date inside your system. So when it comes W-2 time, employees will only receive one W-2 from Payroll for Construction that we can mail from our office to your office to distribute to the employees or to the individual employee addresses. And what else makes us different from other providers out there? So we're going to have direct integration with QuickBooks and other accounting programs out there. So again, we are powered behind the scenes by that accounting software here, but we know not everyone's using Foundation in the office there, where have a direct QuickBooks integration tool, as well as integrations with Sage products, Viewpoint, etc. Whatever accounting system you are utilizing in the office there, after payroll is processed, have those integrations that we can pass payroll information back into your accounting product there. Then with us here, our only focus is construction. You're going to have a staff of professionals experienced only with construction payroll, more specifically union prevailing wage contractors. So those of us that are having that prevailing wage Davis-Bacon work, when you ever have issues, you have questions, when you're calling in, you're not calling into someone that's going to need to research more on the topic, as they're servicing all industries with their payroll services. With us, we're only working with those prevailing wage Davis-Bacon contractors, union contractors here, only trained in-house on our systems, be able to assist with whatever questions you may have when it comes to your team's payroll setup with us. As well as here too, we do offer a few mobile applications for field entry of time card hours, but if those in the audience here today, any of you are currently utilizing a mobile application for your team, we do have a time card import feature where after those hours are entered in the mobile app, spit out a file, import them into our system, be able to still keep that field application you're currently utilizing, tie that in with your payroll database here. The payroll for construction itself, web-based access anytime from anywhere with an internet connection, whatever PC, laptop, computer device we're using for our workstation, go ahead, log into your payroll database there, have direct access to process payroll anywhere with an internet connection. And the final point here today, we do also offer an online pay stub portal for employees to go in and retrieve those pay stubs electronically. Payroll information seamlessly flows over after payroll has been processed by our team here. Then how a payroll is processed with us. Simple as access your online payroll for construction database. You're going to enter or import those time cards into the system. You'll then review your time card entries and payroll calculations using our time card list proofing report, as well as a number of pre-check registers, calculators to review where those hours and calculations stand before our team ever touches that payroll for payroll processing. Then once payroll looks good to go, you click submit directly inside of that database, send that payroll to our team for processing. Within the hour, you have a full report breakdown of what was handled by our team, total amount of checks, direct deposits, total tax liability that was covered, handled by us in that week here. All right, so what I'm going to do here next is I'm going to go ahead and jump into the payroll database here for you guys. So with payroll for construction, those of us that do take the next steps with the services, we start you with a blank database copy that we're going to build from the ground up to only house the information your team needs for your specific payroll runs there. Where one of the first places is inside payroll maintenance, where we'll come in, we'll set up any of those current active employees here. We have a team of data extraction specialists that will be able to export current information from that accounting system, current providers that we're working with, where we'll get those employees loaded into the system here. We'll also go ahead and set up that workers' compensation policy. Again, have that broken out by the types of work, the classes we have for the team here. Then also is where you're then going to start seeing here at the bottom how we can help handle that Davis-Bacon payroll, help simplify it for the team. As when I come in here, on my employee record, like I mentioned earlier, we can have that set $15 an hour for private commercial work. But based on that Davis-Bacon, that prevailing wage project here, you get a list of rates, send it over to our team. We'll go ahead and get this table set up for you, timestamp it with the upcoming effective date here, where we'll then list out all of the trade classifications that we have on that project, along with the corresponding rates of pay. There's a separate table where we'll break out that fringing information, so we'll have everything broken out inside the system, what's going on with that Davis-Bacon project. Then these tables are taken and tied directly to that job record. So then as I code that time into the system, no matter if I'm manually entering it, importing it in, using our mobile application here, the payroll for construction database will look at that project, pull in the corresponding rate of pay based on what that employee was doing, on what projects they had worked in that week. Unlimited number of rates, states, jobs, all on one time card for these employees with payroll for construction here. As well as too with these tables, effective dates. So if any contractors in the audience today have longer lasting prevailing wage Davis-Bacon jobs where, hey, maybe on July 1st or at the end of the year, everything's going to be going up by $1 for my example here. As soon as you get the updated information, provide that over to our team. We'll go ahead and timestamp that with the upcoming effective date. So no matter if those changes occur at the beginning of a payroll run, in the middle of a payroll run, the system will look at that effective date, be able to then switch all of our employees' pay rates over to the updated scale based on what we need for that job's contract there. So no need to go in and update 50, 60, 70 employees' pay rate information when those changes do occur. They will all be caught under these tables inside of our system here. We'll close out there. And then the separate one, the fringing table here for that prevailing wage fringe information. So again, with this, no matter if all trades are being calculated at the same rate for that fringing information, or I need to get down into a trade by trade, employee by employee basis, we can absolutely do so with the payroll for construction system, where what we'll then do is, no matter if this is, again, something we're just paying as cash into the employee's paycheck here, or if we need that fringing information to be broken out across multiple buckets, 401k, health insurance, etc. Does not matter to set up for that fringing information. We'll go ahead and get those listed out, have the codes, maybe conventions with how you would want that fringing information to display, control how this needs to be calculated, hours worked, hours paid, where we could have the 0.5 calculation for overtime be subjected, or may not need that to be subject to that rate. The rate it's calculated at, control how it's taxed, even set up limits, as well as have those effective dates on these tables where, again, our team can manage these prevailing wage Davis-Bacon tables for you. So then the system, when we have that Davis-Bacon work, as we're bringing our hours into the system, going to help automate the assigning of those pay rates, the tracking of the fringing information, as well as then give us access to all of our payroll reports here. But I'll go ahead and close out. And also inside the system here, what it boils down to is, hey, any jobs that you have, any active jobs, we'll get them front loaded inside the system during implementation. Then as you get new projects, you come in, you set them up inside payroll for construction, needing a job name, number, description. Multi-state contractors provide us that taxing table, tie that into that project where the work is taking place. Then inside the payroll system, you go ahead, bring in your hours into that payroll database here, where I come into the enter time cards. We'll have default time card formats that come available for you as a payroll for construction user, or we can use our custom time card genie to custom format these entry screens for how your team would need the hours reporting entry to be laid out for you. Or again, can have that importing of the time here where we can bring those in from some sort of other mobile provider that we're utilizing there. When we're running the import, it's as simple as coming in, clicking OK after we select that format. I come up to the top, click import. I have an import sequence that will be set up by our team here, where all you'll do is select browse, select where that file was saved on your desktop. Get a quick little preview here at the bottom, click finish. Your hours are then brought into the payroll for construction system here, whereas then my pay rate information, my taxing tables, my actual other information, what's going on with these hours inside the system, is left grayed out. As what I then do is click OK to automate. The system then looks at that specific project, would tell us if there were any Davis-Bacon prevailing wage tables tied in behind the scenes. If not, pull in the corresponding private commercial rate of pay, as well as then for our other employees and our employees that are working those above scale paid jobs, pull in then all the corresponding pay rate information, tell us what tables being tied in, assign in those taxing tables, as well as those looking for more detailed job costing information, can also have this broken out across a number of cost codes here. But then after your payroll hours are entered inside of the system here, you'll go ahead and have a number of proofing reports, pre-check registers for you to review where the hours and calculations stand inside that payroll database. So the next step would be going to my time card list proofing report here. With these, if I just run this list here now, you can see all this information broken out with my employees, the projects they had worked in this week, cost code information, pay rate information, if there were any tables tied in behind the scenes, what's going on with our employees' hours here, as well as too with the payroll for construction system, All your reports are going to be met with the criteria tab, where control how we want this information, the report, to be formatted. Don't need some sort of computer science degree to control how we want this report laid out, where I can simply switch my criteria, as well as I can save custom report layouts on a user by user basis. So if Julie in the office wants to see it laid out one way by employee, and Fred wants to see it broken out on a job by job basis, can have that report laid out, saved based on who is accessing the system here. I can then come back in, switch this, come back in, and then have all my projects with my employees who had worked recorded hours under that specific project, giving me my job hour subtotal. So give you complete clarity to review where the hours stand before our team touches that payroll for processing. As well as then too, a number of pre-check registers to check where those calculations stand. Once payroll looks good to go, we come over, we click submit directly inside of that database, send it to our team for payroll processing. Then all of our payroll reports are available to us inside the payroll system, where you can go in, pull these at any point in time, all included as a payroll for construction client. Where first here, workers' compensation report, again, can go in here. At first, run this from a high-level class breakout. Have my operators, my electricians, my laborers, my office staff. Or hey, you know what, maybe we need a little bit more information if we're ever going through an audit when it comes to workers' comp. Not a problem. Again, we switch that report format, can see it by trade, earn code, employee by employee basis, rerun, pull my workers' compensation information, how I need this to be laid out, as well as then give me my overall subtotals here at the bottom of where we stand with workers' compensation. Again, all this information being automatically tracked as hours are coded into your payroll system here. We'll close out there. Then also, again, EEO minority compliance reporting, or as well as with us talking, simplifying Davis-Bacon payroll here today, those certified payroll electronic and print formats here. So whatever format you need does not matter. You don't need to assign it to a project here, as once those projects are marked as a certified payroll Davis-Bacon project, we come in here, run that electronic format, go in and select what report format you need here. DIR, Ashtaware, EMARS, Illinois, Maryland, Texas, Washington have their own specific electronic formats here. Or one of the big ones we see, that LCP tracker, you select your format that you need. You come in, you put in the date range that you need the report to be generated for, control where you want this to be saved on your computer. You can run this for one job, multiple jobs at a time, where I then run this report. Going to then give me my electronic file format here, and looks like a jumbled mess of information. That's because once I click close, file's not been created, create file now, click yes, saves it to our preferred location on our device or workstation there, then log into the LCP tracker, upload that file. Your certified report has been generated for payroll for construction. No manually going through, keying in that information to LCP tracker there, which can take hours depending on how much information we need to enter for the team. As well as then too, those certified payroll print formats. So the same thing here, you put in the date range that you need, a number of ways we can format how this report is laid out, the information you need for your team there, then select the format that you need. Again, I'll just do a quick high-level scroll through all of our available formats here, over 40 different print certified payroll report formats available inside the system. If a report format changes, we will be timestamping it, updating that report for you, as we're only working in the construction industry here. Keep going through. Then again, the one I'll show here, that U.S. Department WH-347. Go ahead, once you have your report format selected, generate that report. As well as too, we'll pull in those signature pages for us that we can PDF, pull this outside the system. If there's a spot for it on the certified report, there's a spot for it to be tracked inside payroll for construction. Again, no manual entry of information. As well as too, if anyone does need no work performed certifieds, can absolutely have that system generate those no work performed certifieds along with the signature pages, whatever we need for our reports for the team there. We'll jump out there. Again, a number of other reports available for our clients here, time off reports, those union reports for union contractors where, hey, time to make that report to the union here. Go ahead, put in the month date range that we need, run the report. We'll have all of our information broken out on a trade by trade basis, all of our employees that had hours logged under that specific union, then give us our subtotals based on that specific trade. Go through, then have the overall bottom line of where we stand with that union. Again, doesn't matter if you're working with one union, working with multiple unions, can have all that union information as well tracked inside of our database here. If we do have contractors that are double dipping with that union prevailing wage Davis-Bacon work, close out of there. Then the last big one here we'll show today, the burden employee summary report. So again, with payroll, more than saying we're paying our guys $15 an hour once all the burden comes into play. So have all my employees, their projects with their hours and earnings, but then brings in all of the burden calculations here so we can see our true average hourly rate of what our employees are hitting us for when it comes to those payroll runs. Then again, with all of these reports, PDF, Word, Excel, CSV, click a button, save it to your desktop. Very easily to send these off to a user that may not have access to our payroll system here. So we'll go ahead and close out there. Then we'll jump back over. And what I want to then do is go ahead and then open it up to those in the audience today that may have any questions here. So again, with Payroll for Construction, we are a full third-party payroll service provider, but using the tables, the knowledge, settings inside of that database can help set up what's going on with those prevailing wage Davis-Bacon projects, can help automate the pay rates of what's going on for the employees, as well as track all the corresponding fringing information, then have our certified payroll reports, as well as a number of other construction-specific reports available for us to pull inside of our payroll database at any point in time. But going through then, looking like we have some questions that are flowing through. One here, what happens if I ever have a layoff check in the middle of a payroll run? Will I be able to pay the employee? Yep, great question there. So with any layoff checks, if you have a layoff check with Payroll for Construction here, if it's in the middle of a payroll run, at the beginning of a payroll run, that's not a problem. You'll have an off-cycle payroll period that you'll be able to go in to that off-cycle, enter that one-time check information for the employee, cut that outside the system, hand it to the employee to get paid. The next time we process that full week's payroll run, we will be able to see the off-cycle check information and get all taxing information up to date on our end as the payroll provider here. All right. Leave it open there for a few other seconds to see if we have any other questions. Doesn't look like we have anything else here. So again, my contact information is here at the bottom. If anyone does have any additional questions here or is interested in setting up time to discuss Payroll for Construction further, please do not hesitate to reach out, give me a call, shoot me an email here. But those of you in the audience today, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us for today's webinar covering how Payroll for Construction can help handle, simplify that Davis-Bacon payroll. Again, if there's anything else that we can do to help here, please don't hesitate to reach out. But thanks again, everyone. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day today.